It's a really, really interesting argument that somehow freedom is something that Christianity suppresses and freedom comes from secularism. I would be prepared to argue the case, and I think it can be demonstrated. If you read a book like Vishal Mangawadi's The Book That Made Your World, I would argue that modern, Western, liberal notions of freedom, equality, and so on actually stem from Christianity. That if you remove the root of Christianity, you will eventually lose the fruit. So I would turn that question completely on its head, and I would say, with Christianity you get freedom. Without Christianity, you will inevitably end up with some form of repression. And if people say, well, prove that, I go, history. That's the first thing. I would also say to them, yes, of course, religion can be used to repress people, and it often is. But in a society where, if you like, there are two sources of authority, the state and what we might call the church, and maybe three, maybe the family as well. If you remove God out of the equation, you're left just with the state. And human nature being what it is, politicians, elites, those who govern us, will, instead of bringing freedom, they will give more and more and more laws. I had an article published in a gay rights magazine, and it got a lot of interest. It was their most popular article, explaining the Christian view of sexuality and so on. And one man wrote me and said, look, David, I see that you're not a homophobe, and I really, I don't agree with what you say, but I appreciate you having the courage to write it in a gay rights magazine. And he said, bottom line is, what I want is, I want to live in a country with freedom. Like, and he named Switzerland, United Kingdom, Norway, Scandinavia, and so on. And I wrote back to him, he named 10 countries. And I wrote back to him and said, isn't it interesting that every single one of the countries you named has come from a Protestant tradition? Every single one. I think that's what I would say to somebody who says that Christianity is against freedom.